The scale of the mission is unprecedented. We must ensure the load calculations for the forward section are precise.
The stress data confirms structural integrity across all parameters.
The fatigue test showed minimal degradation. It's ready.
The depth and pressure at these levels are immense, making the descent incredibly dangerous.
The long journey to the Titanic site begins at dawn. The crew is already at work.
The deep-sea illumination arrays are complex systems designed to withstand immense pressure while providing critical light miles below the surface.
Don't need it. To withstand the extreme pressure, every component must be calibrated precisely.
The depth tolerance is marginal here.
Below the waves, the ROV descends into a realm of crushing pressure and perpetual darkness.
In this silent abyss, the true weight of the ocean, the cavernous pressure, presses in from all sides.
Decades of relentless saltwater erosion have transformed this once mighty forecastle into a skeletal ruin. The currents constantly shift the silt. Beneath the rust and silt lies the promenade. It's hard to believe this corridor once epitomized luxury.
Look at the detail on these railings. This was the centerpiece, where the wealthiest passengers would gather.
This was the first-class dining saloon, where the wealthiest passengers enjoyed lavish meals every night.
The intense heat this room once generated is hard to imagine now that it rests in the cold depths.
The manifest listed furs, jewels, and this very automobile, all claimed by the deep.
We are now moving through the officers' quarters. The command staff who inhabited these rooms lived under it.
We are now in the Marconi room, where the final distress signals were sent. All that remains now is the silence.
It was here, in the wheelhouse, that the final desperate orders were issued. A stark contrast to this. The bent davits and scattered ropes tell a silent story of the chaos that unfolded here. An evacuation against the clock. The elegance of this room, with its gilded trim and grand piano, is now just a memory buried in the silt.
This is the aftermath of the catastrophic collapse. The grand staircase, once the height of luxury, was obliterated.
These cramped quarters offered only modest accommodations for the crew. Now, they are silent, save for the creaking of the deep.
Feeding thousands of people on a voyage like this wasn't just a job, it was a monumental undertaking every single day.
The sheer scale of this engine room is breathtaking. These massive pistons represent the cutting edge of propulsion technology for their time.
The contrast between this space and the upper-class amenities is stark. Here,
the final plunge subjected the stern to catastrophic failure. These twisted bees and scattered plates.
The scale of the Titanic's engineering is nowhere more apparent than in these colossal propellers, towering over the submersible.
The forces that tore the stern apart were immense. As the compartments flooded, the pressure buckled the decks. Under the immense pressure of the deep ocean, the stern completely imploded, bending the massive keel and creating these deep fissures. The main challenge lies in attaching the lifting systems without causing further damage to the fragile structures of the wreck.
Securing this salvage gear requires absolute precision, especially when dealing with century-old metal.
Watch the swing.
The engineering challenge here is immense. We need precise calculations to ensure the chains wrap the hull.
Maintaining precision alignment is critical to avoid any further damage to the fragile wreck.
The greatest challenge is threading the heavy chains beneath these broken beams. Now, with the anchor confirmed, the ascent can begin.
Each chain must pull evenly to prevent hull collapse.
Pressure holding steady at 1500 psi, Supervisor.
The pressure is carefully distributed across these reinforced lift points, ensuring the structural integrity of the aging hull.
We must ensure the synchronization of these lifts, as it is the only way to prevent catastrophic hull failure.
We are constantly monitoring the fragility of this century-old steel.
The historic moment is upon us. The Titanic is finally rising after more than 110 years beneath the waves.
The unprecedented force required to raise the wreck was immense. As the chains tightened, the massive hull began.
After a century in the darkness, the great ship returns to us. But the emotional weight of this moment is profound.
The final ascent, the most dangerous phase.
Slow the lift, she's rising too fast.
We have structural shock on the bow.
History returning to daylight. The rusting hull of the Titanic emerges from its century-long slumber.
The wreck must be balanced precisely to avoid mid-air fractures.
A monumental engineering feat, the Titanic is suspended high above the churning ocean, swaying gently under massive tension.
One wrong shift could collapse the weakened hull. The cranes must now lower the vessel centimeter by centimeter.
It is absolutely essential to distribute the stress across dozens of different points to prevent the hull from collapsing under its own weight.
After a century in the deep, the legendary Lineley home